Well, Sundays, as you know, some people say it's the most boring day. Others think of Sundays as we go to church. Others is are still they get to party during the weekend. But here, for us on the Sundays, we continue to review what wrestling we have. So, today we're going to be doing Ganbare Pro with their latest event called Shooting in the Cold Rain, A Gun for Promise 2023. As you know, they're still building up teams for the upcoming tournament for the Spirit of Ganbare Pro Ganbare Openweight Tag Team titles. And of course, we have the start of the New Japan Cup with New Japan Pro Wrestling. We're going to see the first round matches take place. And then finally, of course, AEW Revolution. We have some amazing matches taking place. Jericho versus Ricky Stark again. Will Ricky Stark prevail another win against him, or will the Ocho prevail again? The women's championship will be on the line in a three-way. As you know, the war rages on between originals, the outsiders, and those who are in between. And then, of course, the World Tag Team titles, the trios titles, the World title are all on the line. Oh yeah, I forgot the TNT. And then, of course, we have some news updates to tell what's been happening in any debuts or anything going on in the world of pro wrestling. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Jay right here. So, let's begin with the latest Ganbare show called Shooting in the Cold Rain, A Gun for Promise. And this recently took place on the same day as March 5th, which is Revolution, time by AEW. So, as I mentioned before, they announced for the upcoming tournament for the Spirit of Ganbare Openweight Tag Team titles. So much of this entire thing, we're going to see teams being formed. So I will point out which matches were involved in that, and those. And we do have two Gangjo's matches, which is of course the Yoshi wrestlers having their matches. Our first match we have Munetatsu Nakamura versus Takuya Wada. Um, we've seen these guys before on many times with Gambari. These are like the new guys in the promotion. I have to say I like what Wada did, how he played out in this match, applying a move that he called the cross heeled hold. It's like a leg lock type, but it was effective for him to pick up a win against Nakamura. Our next match, we have, of course, the Ganjo girls, um, Yoshiko Hasagawa, Arukaze versus Hasai and Moeka Haruhi. Now, if you guys don't know who Asai is, she is from Ice Ribbon. Um, I'm sure if you guys remember, I didn't talked about how she was dealing with some make them breakdown at the dojo, but surprisingly, I did not expect her to make an appearance in Gambari, but it was great to see her. But I have to say, she did a pretty good job teaming with Aruhi. But it was, of course, her who picked up an amazing win with a Kuma roll. But from what I read, she calls it the Chanmaru Boy. She did that on Hasegawa to pick up good win. I wouldn't be surprised if she does come back for Gambari Pro. As you know, they're trying to launch the upcoming Gambari Yoshi uh, brand, which is something that Unamanaze have thought about, but we'll just wait and see. Now, this is not the only Ganjo of match that they had. There was another one, but this one is a singles match. We have Yuri taking on Miyuki Takase. I was surprised to see her there too. Takase, if you guys remember, she has worked for various promotions. Yuri, as you know, she is one of the younger and newer girls, but she is a capable wrestler to pick up the win. But Takase has a far more better experience. So you can guess that this match was going to fall in favor of Takase when she applied the second rope diving guillotine drop, and boom, just like that, she wins the match. Next up, we have Tyson Meguchi taking on Junichiro Tominaga. It was a pretty good match. Um, Maiguchi actually pulled off some good like kickboxing maneuvers and all that, but he did a knee strike that allowed him to pick up the win on Tominaga, and he called it the sorry to trouble you. So he picked up the very good win. Now in the post match, he took a promo. Now he's been trying to find people to team up with, and apparently he had no luck with that. However, he did call out someone who, if he's willing to team up with him for the upcoming tag team tournament for the tag titles, and the person that came out is none other than Hikaru Sato. You may remember him. I mentioned him on certain events like All Japan and all this, and that's one of the things. So Sato actually agreed to be his tag partner for this tournament. So we'll see how that goes. Now, our next match, we have Shota versus Soma Takao. Now, these two guys actually were part of the tag team known as Romance Dawn. They kind of disbanded after Shota took an excursion here in the States. If you guys remember, Shota was here a few times. He met a couple. He was actually here in my hometown of San Diego, appearing in Level Up, and it was great that he was here. But when he got back, it seems like there was a bit of not resentment, but more like how to say, uh, Tokoa was not happy to see him after he just left. But they've been feuding ever since then. But this is more like the conclusion. Could this match indicate, will this be over between them? Could they put their differences aside? Because I did state it one time, if they were going to do a tag team titles, I would like to see Romance Down being the first to do so. And I think this was like that point. So it was, of course, Shota with the win on the backslide onto Takoa, giving the win. So in the post match promo, it looks more like Shota's willing to put whatever unresolved issues he had with Takoa, because they need to do this. They need to reform Romance Dawn in order to be part of the tournament. And I think that's going to be a good thing. And to me, as a fan, I think they should be the ones to win it. But we'll just wait and see until the start of the tournament. Now, our main event, we have 6-person tag match. Team number 1, we have Kisuke Ishii, Yumehiro Inamari, and Ken Oka versus Tatsuhito Takaiwa, Chuchiro Katsumata, and Miyuki Takase. Um, Pretty interesting matchup, because the way I see it, if you guys remember, it was Inamari who defeated Takaiwa for these the open weight title, and that kind of sets in. But I wasn't too sure how this is going to play. I know that if you guys ask me, will the champion Miyuki Takase will be involved in the tournament? Nope. He said he has other plans. But this match was very good. It was, of course, Takaway who picked up the win onto Inamura with the Death Valley Bomb, and it was over right from there. Now, I cannot recall more about the tag titles when they'll start, but I'll be apprised of that. There will be some Gambari news on the news updates that I will mention. I think this one you guys definitely gonna like. So I think that's pretty much it for now for Ganbare Pro. I believe it's time for New Japan. Okay, New Japan Pro Wrestling. As you know, we are starting with the New Japan Cup. Now, for those who don't know what the New Japan Cup, if you're new to this channel, let me explain what this is. The New Japan Cup is a singles elimination tournament where the winner will get an opportunity to face the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, and that is Okada, unless if he doesn't lose the title before that. But that's the idea. Basically, you win a trophy, you cash it in, and you get your shot of the title. There are many good wrestlers that could be potential to go all the way to the finals, but we won't get to that until we get to the end. However, on this particular day, this is where we have only two matches revolving on that. The rest will be it, but some matches are in this one are kind of like previews before we get to the matches that will take place. So right now, let's get started with the first one. Our first match, we have TMDK, consistent of the young lion Kosei Fujita, teaming up with Zack Sabre Jr., his mentor, and they take on Rohei Oiwa and Tama Tonga. Now, it's already been said that Tama Tonga and Zack Sabre Jr. will face off in the tournament, but this is a preview. But also, this match also revolve on both Oiwa and Fujita. Now, if you guys remember clearly, Zack Sabre Jr. used both young lions to get into Evil's head. Remember, he used them in order to win the IWGP World Television title, but apparently it was Fujita who took the liking of Zack Sabre Jr., make him one of the newest members of TMDK, the first young lion to be pulled out. And I think that kind of sets in, and Oiwa felt like he was being left out because he did help Zack Sabre Jr. But I have to say, Fujita really did learn a lot from Zack Sabre Jr. because he applied the wrist lock, which is the same move that he showed him on many occasions, and of course it paid off. So we could see a bright future for Fujita, but I don't know about Iwa. He probably will get his revenge against him, but we'll see about that. But as I said, this is only a preview between Tama and Zack. Next up, we got the House of Torture. Dick Togo, Sho, Yujiro Takahashi, and Evil taking on 6 or 7 Masawato Taguchi. Then we have, of course, Ren Narita, who is 1/3 of the Never Openweight 6-man tag team champions. And then, of course, we have the Roughneck Shooter himself, Shuta Umino. I have to say, it was very interesting, this match. Now, keep in mind, Ren Narita had a deal with Evil and the rest of House of Torture because they took a picking on him ever since. But since he and Suzuki and Desperado won the 6-man Never Openweight tag team titles, it changed his perspective. But what I did like about this is, of course, it was Master Wato who picked up the win onto Dick Togo, giving them the win. But this feud between Narita, it's already been told that Narita and Evil will meet each other at the tournament. And I'm sure Evil will stop at nothing to get revenge from the loss of the tag titles. But Narita, he just left without raising his hand. So basically, he's a man of few things, as you would say. Now, our next match, we have the Bullet Club, consistent of Geto, Chase Owens, and Kenta, taking on Yuto Nakashima, and of course, members of Strong Style, Minoru Suzuki, and Desperado. So it's very interesting to see that. But however, many people are now talking that Bullet Club, they're in disarray at the moment without Jay White since he's been banished from New Japan. But however, I do see maybe Bullet Club are still strong, but it's only a matter of time until they have a brand new leader. It could be anybody, I don't care who it is, but that's always been the case when it comes to them. But it was, of course, Chase Owens with the package pile driver onto Nakashima that allowed them to win the match. But you know how Bullet Club are. It's just a little too sweet for them. Now, our next match, we have the members of Chaos, consistent of Yujiro Takahashi. No, never mind. We have Toru Yano, Yo, and Leo Rush. As you know, Leo Rush is the next challenger for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. They take on the members of Bushi, Hiromu Takahashi, and Shingo Takagi. So I thought it's very interesting that this match was set upon that. I'm not sure if there's a preview between Yano and Shingo, but if it is, then there is. But it was, of course, a backslide by Shingo onto Yano to pick up the win. But however, you know that Leo Rush will stop at nothing to get his hands on the championship that Hiromu has. Next up, we got Tomoaki Hamna teaming up with Hiroshi Tanahashi and Kazuchika Okada taking on Tomohiro Ishii, Bushman, of course, Yoshihashi, and Goto. Now, it's already been said that Tanahashi and Okada will team up the challenge for the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles. Now, keep in mind, Okada has never won this type of title. I know Tanahashi has, so I have to say is a very interesting thing for him to do. But, however, how will this play out? But of course, it was the brain buster by Ishii onto Hamna that allowed them to win. So we will see that championship match soon enough. Now, our next last two matches are involving the New Japan Cup. First match, we have El Phantasmo taking on Tetsuya Naito. Now, keep in mind, El Phantasmo had made a transition from going to junior heavyweight to heavy, and I have to say he pulled off an amazing match with Naito. People could say what they want about him, but you cannot deny that he pulled up hell of a match until uh, Naito realized that he couldn't pull off the Destino to put him away, so he applied the Pluma Blanca, which is a Koji clutch, onto him to force him to pin, and that was it. And that was even sweeter. So we could see Naito, one of the most potential wrestlers that could make it to the finals. That's what he's been doing. His goal is now to win the IWGP World Heavyweight title. Now our last match was the main event. Oh my goodness, this is the best one. Taichi versus Sonata. I have to say this is one of those matches where it tells a fantastic story. Keep in mind, Taichi should have been a long time ago reaching for the top, and he should have done that. Should have been done that way for a while. But Sonata, as you know, we all know he has the potential to win a world championship, and that is something that's been discussed. Not to mention, the last couple of weeks he's been in a funk, but he really surprises with a brand new move that I never seen before. It was insane. So I have to say it was a lot. But normally we see Sonata closing the show when we see him, but this time he wanted Taichi to do it, which was unusual. But Sonata in the past has been known as the man of few words, and for some odd reason, we don't know why, but we'll see what happens in the upcoming weeks with Sonata. Hopefully, he does make it all the way to the end. He's one of those also wrestlers that I do believe will make it to the final. So we'll see about that. So right now, let's move on to our last final review, AEW Revolution. Okay, AEW Revolution. I have to say it's great that they did this one. I have to say it was a pretty good show. Now, normally we don't do the kickoff show, the 0 hour one, but I did it anyway because Mark Briscoe was involved. So he teams up with the Lucha Brothers to take on the varsity athletes Woods and Nice, along with the leader of the Trustbusters, Ari Daivari, and of course you got that weasel, Smart Mark Sterling, in the toe. So I have to say it was a pretty fun match. Not to mention, I did like how the chemistry with Mark Briscoe and the Lucha Brothers coexisted. Keep in mind, Briscoe was a tag team specialist with his brother, so he kind of could fit in with, of course, the Lucha Brothers. Don't ask me about Pac because I don't know what's going on with that. I'm not sure if he's taking some time off, but um, it's very fun. But it took the Froggy Bow by Mark Briscoe to put away a Davari, giving him the win. But however, that doesn't end there. Alex Brahamontes grabbed that weasel Sterling and tossed him back into the ring until he got the, what was it? The fear factor onto him. And of course, the others had to watch while poor little Sterling had it coming. So I thought it was a great ending for that match. Now for our main card, we start with Jericho versus Ricky Starks. Now keep in mind, nobody from the Jericho Appreciation Society are banned from ringside. So you know that somehow there's going to be a plan. Jericho always finds ways because Ricky Starks would say it, that he does believe he can beat him even without the help of the JSA. But we all know it could be a load of crap coming from Jericho. Now, when things seems like it was going great for Ricky Starks, here comes Sammy Guevara, tried to get involved, but luckily Action Andretti shows up and tries to take him out. But of course, Jericho tried, of course, low blowing Ricky Starks every move in order to get away. But nope, it took a Rochambeau for Starks to put away Jericho, giving him his second win over Jericho. So we could see in no time Ricky Starks going for a singles championship run. That is something I think many fans could hopefully expect. Now our next match is the final burial. This is between Christian Cage and Jungle Boy. Now, if you guys remember, Christian Cage and Jungle Boy was like a mentor and student. He did help the Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy win the tag team titles, but things changed after losing them. Christian tried to get rid of Jungle Boy in many occasions, but he did try to stop him from ever reaching one goal. Jungle Boy said he's done with the tag teams, but now he's more focused on the singles run. And Christian Cage has been trying to stop him from doing that. But there were moments where we did thought that Christian could have won, but no, Jungle Boy actually put him away. But he used the killer instinct to put away Christian when he double concerto right on him, and it was over right from there. So it's more like now he's buried. He can move on from this, go do what he said he was out to do. Now our next match, this one is the far more interesting one. We had the AEW World Trios Championship between the House of Black, Matthews, King, and Black taking on the Elite. Now many fans have talked about this over time. This is a team that adapts differently than what the Elite has done. Now people can say that the Elite are entering uncharted waters because we know how good the Elite can be, but the House of Black has been more than what the Elite has been doing, and I think that tells it. But of course, Julia Hart was there to help out the House of Black in some capacity, but it only took Dante's Inferno to put away Nick Jackson, and it was over right from there. And this is what fans wanted to see: the House of Black winning the trios title. So it's a good thing. So people are happy that they won the titles, but the obvious thing is who will be crazy enough to step up against them. That is the key thing. So the House of Black may have walked out as tag champions, but we'll see what happens then. Now our next match is the AEW World's Women's Championship. We have the challengers Saraya and Ruby Soho taking on the champion Jamie Hayter. Now keep in mind, this is a feud that's been raging on between the originals and the outsiders. And then of course you have Ruby, who's like caught in the middle. So basically they're trying to tell her she needs to take a side. So I think that's always been the case. But you can tell that Saraya and Jamie Hayter, they are definitely want to put them away. But unfortunately, it was a crucifix by Hayter that picked up the win on Ruby. So Ruby was in disbelief. But once again, we see the feud between the outsiders and the homegrowns rages on until Ruby Soho helped Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker, and then boom, final destination onto Jamie Hayter and taking out Britt Baker. So it looks more like Ruby surprised everyone. She sides with the outsiders. So that kind of tells us the story. She's on that side. So the real question is what's going to happen next? We'll just wait and see at the Fallout on Dynamite. Now our next match is a Texas Death Match. I don't know if this is the final conclusion between both Hangman Adam Page and Jon Moxley. Man, this was one of the most brutal matches that we've ever seen. These guys were willing to go the distance to hurt each other in any capacity. Now, you probably say to yourself, Moxley probably had this one in the bag. That's always been the case. But, Hangman Page has to come out as an animal in order to put away Moxley. But one thing he did, if you guys ask yourself, where did Hangman Adam Page got his name from? Well, There's some photos that was posted about his past. He used to have a man's noose right there with him, and he used the chain to do that, forcing Jon Moxley to tap. That was unprecedented. I think many of us never would have imagined that was going to happen. So the real question is, how will Man will be now that he won this match, got one on Moxley? We'll just wait and see until we get to Wednesday. Now our next match is another championship. We have the TNT title between Samoa Joe and Wardlow. As you know, Wardlow has always was the previous champion until losing the title to Joe. But however, they things got a little personal between them until Joe cut off the ponytail from Wardlow. Talk about the reasons why he has it, and Samoa Joe took that advantage of him. But it took. You probably would have thought Wardlow would have put Samoa Joe in a Symphony Powerbomb, but you can guess right away in some capacity that Joe already knew that was going to happen. But the surprising moment is Wardlow applied one of Joe's moves on him, which is the sleeper hold right there, and Joe was out just like that. But keep in mind, now that Wardlow won the TNT title, he has another obstacle to go through, and that is the winner of the Face of the Revolution ladder match, Will Hobbs, and that's going to take place this coming Wednesday. Our next match is the AEW World Tag Team titles in a four-way. The Guns, or should we call them the Ass Boys, because they say they don't want people calling them chanting Ass Boys. Well, it's not going to happen. They're trying to get the respect that they deserve, but nobody gives them that. They face off Danhausen and Orange Cassidy. The Acclaim, Jarrett and Lethal. I thought this match was pretty interesting. Now, you probably would have thought the Acclaim would have reclaimed these titles, but it wasn't it. There was some different advantage, but it was the Guns that walked away with the winner when they took out Danhausen 1, 2, 3. And then, of course, they said the one words they claim they are. They say they are the best tag team in the world. But what happened next, we don't know for sure if this was for real or another sick joke by the Ass Boys. The theme song of FTR shows up, and then there it is. Now, keep in mind, the Ass Boys, has been taunting them. They say they destroyed the legacy of FTR. No, they didn't. They just were jealous, in my opinion, that they were better than them. But the one thing is, they're not the best tag team. They just only had one title defense. You got a long way to go before you become the best. But some fans are already speculating in some capacity that this could lead possibly to Double or Nothing in May. So it's a long way to go, but we'll see what happens then. Now, our next match, our main event, is the AEW World Title in a Iron Man match. Now, keep in mind, this is a match that, of course, Bryan Danielson has been in, but this is not the type that MJF. So he knows that he's in uncharted waters. So he has to do what he can to pick up a win in this one, and that kind of tells it. Now, we all thought the same thing, basically, that this match was going to end with one of them winning. No, it did not. It ended with a draw once the 60-minute time limit ended. However, Tony Schiavone in the commentary booth was getting a message from Tony Khan, and he went up to the Justin Roberts and Bryce Remsburg, giving them the saying that this match has to continue in sudden death. So basically, there has to be a winner. So basically, that's how it is. So he made it happen. But however, certain moments we did see, of course, you probably thought Bryan Danielson would have had the opportunity to win it, but no. MJF used the oxygen tank. Ref didn't see it, but he put him in a label lock. Now, we thought that Bryan Danielson was going to be out. No, he hanged in there as long as possible until MJF finally refuses to put him down, and boom. Bryan Danielson was already out. MJF retained the title. So, who is next? We don't know. MJF feels that he's not going to challenge until the next pay per view, which is Double or Nothing. But we'll see until then. So I think that's pretty much it what we have for AEW. I think it's time for some news updates. Okay, welcome to our news update. So this is what we have so far. As you know, WrestleCon is not that far off. They're still continuing to announce who will be showing up. Well, the latest news came that Sean Spears will be there. So if you guys are big fans of him, if you guys are planning to be in LA for the weekend, for WrestleMania weekend, well, now you know he's there. So 10 will be there. Now, Deadlock Pro Wrestling has announced for their upcoming event, Forever, that will take place on the 26th of this month. Um, the DPW World Tag Team titles will finally be put on the line in a steel cage match. The champions Violence Forever will take on the Workhorsemen. Now, I've been watching many of the Deadlock Pro Wrestling shows. There have been occasions where the Workhorsemen were unable to do it, but now it's gonna happen. Hopefully, I get to see it, but if not, then I'll try to follow it as much as possible. Now, normally I never seen this promotion, but if any of you guys are fans of this promotion, Chaotic Wrestling, then for the upcoming event on the 17th for Cold Fury out of For Blood, the Innovator Violence ECW original Tommy Dreamer will be there. So if you guys are from the Boston area, big fans of Chaotic Wrestling, then you guys know where to go. House of Glory has announced for the With Glory Come Pride show that's going to happen on the 10th. The the House of Glory Crown Jewel Championship will be put on the line. That sadistic, crazy nut job Charles Mason will put his belt on the line against Alec Price. I think I'm more interested to see that because Alec Price is a talented wrestler. I can't wait to see how he's going to pull off. Now, as I mentioned, I reviewed Ganbare Pro. However, Ganbare has announced debuts of two wrestlers. As you know, Japan are opening the doors to foreigners to come into their country, especially in the wrestling world. Two names have been announced to debut later on in May. Dan the Dad, everybody's favorite dad's going to be there, and of course, Cody Lane. So they will participate in two shows back to back on the 5th of May, Corkin Hall, and the other one on the 6th in Takashi Daira. I think that's what it's called. So it's kind of interesting to say. Hopefully, I get to see those two shows. Now, West Coast Pro for the Home of Killers event on the 7th of April. It's announced that Chris Hero will be there as well. And then finally, our last update here, I want to give a happy anniversary to Hikaru Shimizu from Colors and also an ally to the Cosmic Angels. Yes, guys, she just grown 6 years into the business. I've seen many wrestlers do that. They talk about it is a big deal. We've seen that with many wrestlers like Tam Nakano. We've seen that with Natsupoi, Mina Shirakawa, and a few others. So, happy anniversary, Hikaru Shimizu. If you guys are fans of her, let her know. I already did it myself too. So I think that's pretty much it. So I believe it's time to call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you know, we still got more New Japan Pro Wrestling. No, the New Japan Cup will continue on the 6th, 8th, and 10th of March. But however, the next New Japan show is, of course, the following day, which is going to be the anniversary show. This is where it features the IWGP Tag Team titles on the line. And of course, we have AEW Dark. There are still some other shows I haven't seen yet. Recently, we have for the weekend the GCW shows, Holy Smokes and Ransom. I may not be able to see them as soon as possible, but they are a part of my priority list. And of course, we have Wrestling Revolver with Drip, which I'm excited to see. Several matches that I'm looking forward to that. So I haven't decided which ones I'm going to do. I know for a fact I got New Japan and AEW Dark Elevation. So we'll just leave it as that. I will decide what I'm going to do with the rest. So I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.